All right, you're good to go.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Suzanne Sincata. I'm the career coach at the GoodWill Career Center. I have been working with the Wells Turner Library for several years doing virtual presentations. A lot of this started, I guess, after COVID, when everybody didn't want to be in person, but we're still doing this virtually. What I wanted to do this morning is a couple of things. I'd like to introduce myself and tell you about the GoodWill Career Center. And usually I go around and ask people to introduce themselves and tell me what they're looking for work-wise, because that'll help me. And then we'll look at the workshop. The GoodWill Career Center we're headquartered here in Bridgeport. That's where I am right now. We have 6 career centers around the state, and we provide free career services to people who need help. Anybody 15 and over can use our services. I think I've done a teen workshop with your library too. And what we do is usually come and work with, usually I work with them on a resume, cover letters, job applications, interview prep, whatever their needs are. One of the things that we have done and developed more since COVID was virtual services. So even though you guys are up in Glastonbury area, or maybe somewhere else, I don't know where you're from, anywhere in the United States, actually, I can help you virtually. And for that, at the end, I'll give you my, actually, I can put it in the chat. Let me put that in the chat. What it is, let's see, how do I get to chat? Maybe actually, Christy, if you're there, maybe you could put my email in the chat for me, so that people will have that as a contact. And I do virtual services, meaning I'll make appointments with people and help them, usually by Zoom, and you guys all have computers, or a smartphone. And usually it starts with reviewing your resume and whatnot. Again, it's all free services. And I always tell people it's always good to network, and we'll be talking about that. One of the things I like to do is find out what you guys are doing and what you're interested in looking for, because along the way, maybe I'll have some tips for you. I don't know how you feel about that now that she's recording it, though. If anybody wants to jump out and just talk about yourself or what you're interested in doing job-wise, it'll help me, to focus on what you guys might, some ideas that I might be able to give you.
So
Usually that's,
Suzanne, I'll go first because I think I'm going to be the easiest one.
Okay, Bill.
I'm a senior citizen and I'm retired, so I'm not looking to make a career change. However, I have a nephew who is in a job that he wants to get out of. And he cannot attend this presentation today because he's working today in the job that he wants to get out of. So I'm attending it for him, taking whatever notes I can. I see that it's being recorded. I'm hoping that he can watch the recording later. His particular situation is that he's in manufacturing and would probably like to stay in manufacturing. But I think he's so eager and so anxious to work that, how human nature is, he may just grab the first thing that comes along. So, I'd like to guide him into, holding out until he gets something good, or at least equal to what he's doing right now, and probably even better. So I don't know how that helps you, other than maybe with some sort of a focus on manufacturing.
That's very, very helpful.
Okay.
I'm impressed. And if he's watching this and it's recording, he'll be impressed that his uncle was, doing this for him.
Good.
And he'll hear your message. One of the things, and I don't know if she put that on there. That's what I can meet up with him now. What I try and do is meeting with people. Oftentimes I'm helping people that are working. So sometimes I'll just meet with them virtually during their lunch hour, or not even a whole hour, 20 minutes here or there. We can actually do a lot via email, and also obviously meeting over the phone, either through a phone call or Zoom. So yes, definitely send him my email, and he can register, and I can help him out with his next job move, which hopefully you'll learn, he'll learn from this workshop too.
Okay,
But I appreciate that.
your contact information is not in the chat yet, but once it gets in
Okay,
there,
I have so many windows that I don't know how to get into the chat right now because I have the presentation up. But before I leave, I'll make a note to put that in there. And the
I can,
library definitely has my email.
okay,
So I think, and definitely my tip is, luck comes, and luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So yeah, definitely don't have them rushing in. Preparing is really important, and maybe taking the time, and we'll go through this in the workshop, of taking the time to maybe meet with people in different fields. We call that informational interviewing, and catching up with people, buying them a cup of coffee so that they could, he could learn about that job, because it sounds like, and he sounds like he's a younger guy. So he might be able, through his family and friends and school and everything, find people that are in jobs that he might be interested in and try and meet up with them. So that's one tip for him.
okay.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing, Bill. Okay, does anybody else want to jump in here? You don't have to put your face on there. You can just talk to me and tell me what what you're up to, and what you're thinking about doing.
hi, I'd be happy to share. Excuse me, and unfortunately I'm under the weather today, so I'm a bit hoarse, but I hope you can hear me. Um,
Yes.
I am in a position where I've been in the insurance industry for about 30 years or so. I'm in my 50s, and I'm rapidly approaching burnout. Very interested in seeing finding ways to transfer the skills that I've learned over the years with my current position into a different industry. So, any tips on, how to leverage those skills would be wonderful.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate that, Amy. I can appreciate that. I should have given you guys the background on me. I was in commercial banking for like 17, 18 years. So I had a whole career there. And then I stayed home to raise my children, and I've been working for GoodWill now for about 10 years as a career coach. And I remember being, when I was in banking, sort of hitting the wall at one point, and then it naturally happened for me because I ended up getting laid off. It was when, banks did a lot of mergers, and they still are merging, and it worked out for me because I got laid off and then stayed home with my children. But yes, there's definitely skills that you can put transferable skills, and we can look at different job descriptions. So we'll talk about that hopefully throughout this workshop. But one thing I would do for you is start thinking about what you might be interested in, and then we start looking at some of the job descriptions and see if those skills are in your bandwidth, if you've done something similar at your company. But I believe you could find, with your background, you could probably find something different besides insurance. So thank you for sharing. And anybody else want to step up?
Sure, I will.
Hi, Dana.
Hi. So I was a teacher for 17 years in public, private, and charter schools, and left the profession about 10, 11 years ago. And now I'm looking to get back into the job market, but not as a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So similar questions to the previous speaker, but a little bit different because there's a large gap for me in my work experience.
Well, as I told you about myself, I did have a big gap too. And one of the things that I put on my resume at the time, and people are doing this now, is you can put volunteer work down, because you're going to have, hopefully you've done volunteer work. I did a lot of volunteer work, and was able to like list a lot of skills, like using Excel and, raising money, whatever it was that I did. And that's something we can work on. And as far as transferable skills, you would have a lot too. I think being a teacher, you're a coach, you're a mentor. We were hiring for career coaches here, but they did hire somebody. But something like that you could do. I in doing this now for several years, I've met a lot of teachers that do get burnt out on teaching, especially since COVID. So you're not alone. But if you did want to teach, there's always, I've been putting a lot of people into, what do you call it? Substitute teaching. And that's something you could do if you're trying to, get some money while you're waiting. But hopefully this workshop will work for you. And as I said from the beginning, anybody that wants to email me can go email me, and we could set up an appointment and talk individually about, your specific career path. So thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
Okay, Diana, are you up to it or not? Okay, well, she's on mute, so okay. Well, let me get to our workshop, which I should have started with this slide. Hopefully everybody could see the slides, thinking about changing career paths. And it sounds like obviously all of you guys, at least 4 of you are, including the nephew. And then these are some tips to help you along the way. Okay, be sure that a change is the right decision. Now, it sounds like from talking to 3 of you that it is a right decision. It sounds like you've reached burnout. Maybe sometimes, that happens, or you want a career change because, like your nephew said, Bill, that he's just wants a different job. So you have to evaluate your satisfaction with your current job position. Here's a way, well, some of you aren't working, so I guess you don't have to do that right now, but keeping a journal of your thoughts about how you're feeling, what makes you upset about your current job, that could be helpful. And what do you like about your current job, so that you can think about what you like and then apply that for the next job, that area of your job that you like, and look for that in another job too. And what you don't like, obviously, and what you don't enjoy relating to the job itself or the people with whom you work. Because sometimes that's it too, the people you work with. And that can be unfortunate because you can't change that unless you move within the company. And it might be a small company, so every situation is different. But I think keeping a journal is good, and it keeps you focused. I usually get, like, when I'm starting a job search, by the way, I will start with a resume, and that's something I can help you guys with. But I would also buy like a spiral notebook. I like keeping everything down, or maybe a page in your computer where you can write these thoughts down, and what works and what doesn't work in your job, so that you'll have that as you're looking for that next role. Consider different roles in your current company. That was something that I did mention already, because sometimes these companies are big and they might have other jobs. Like, for instance, in the insurance company, maybe you're more interested in marketing or something, and that's a big company. All these companies they need finance people, they need marketing people, they need cleaning people, whatever it is. All these companies need that. So there might be an opportunity in your company too. Why change companies if there's a position in which you can utilize the skills and knowledge you already have? That's sort of a given. But sometimes you do just want to get out for other reasons, like if you're burnout, or you don't really like the people there, or you're just looking for a change in your whole environment. So, but again, looking at the company in a different way, as if you were looking to move to another department. And if you've been there a while, maybe they'll consider that. because they know you're a good worker. Okay, once you've decided a change is the right step, where should you start? Okay, think back on the roles you've had before and pick out the ones which you've been the most successful. Sort of like I just said earlier, where you're looking for the things in your job that you liked. Also, maybe there's other roles you had besides where you're working now, and just think back, what did I really like to do when in any of these jobs I've had? What did you enjoy doing the most? What other activities do you enjoy? And then most importantly, what skills do you possess that could be utilized in your desired job position? So one of the major job skills, I'm sure a lot of you have, but if you don't have it, is Microsoft Office, knowing how to use Word and Excel. I would say that's sort of a given now for most jobs, especially jobs where you need to have, do administrative work or a college degree. They expect you to be able to use those. And at the end, I'll show you a website if anybody wants to work on their updating their skills. They call it upskilling. You can go to this website. It's a GoodWill website, and they have really good training. At the end, I can do, maybe I could share that with you and go through it since we're just such a small group. Okay. Okay, how do you feel about this? You might be scared, and it's valid to be scared. It's hard to make changes. Change doesn't come easy. And but you guys all are at this workshop because you do want to do a change. So that's really, really good that you're recognizing that. It's a big step, and just don't, just don't feel bad that you're scared, because that's part of it. Sometimes that fear actually makes you feel more productive. And also, as I mentioned earlier, you can take that fear and you can talk to other people about it, like myself. If you ever, want to just feel unload on, oh, I feel really nervous about this. But right now, everything I've been reading about Connecticut, that there is a high unemployment rate, relatively speaking. I think that one of the biggest hurdles that I've worked with is the age discrimination. So that could be a hurdle, and that's scary too. Okay, what's next? You need to brainstorm some career ideas. And as I said earlier, keep a notebook of the activities you enjoy. That notebook is going to be really important. Talk to your friends and family about your thoughts on this. Now, one of the things that you're going to build as you start looking for another career is you want to build up a network. And networking is talking to your friends and family. I always tell people your best resource is sitting next to you. You never know. These people might have connections that you're not aware of. And that's why it's good to spread the word. And one thing I like to do usually at these workshops is to have everybody talk about themselves, their background, and what they're looking for, because you want to get used to doing what you call an elevator pitch. And you're in charge of yourself. You're the CEO of yourself, and you have to be able to talk about yourself. I know a lot of, especially women, aren't good about promoting themselves. They're good about promoting other people. There's a really good book. I'm sure that they have it at Wells Turner Library called Lean In, Lean In. It's been around for a while, but I really like that book because it talks about how women can sort of lean into talking about themselves. And it's a whole movement. Cheryl, forget her last name, but she had a big job at Google and has had some other big jobs. Anyway, another thing to do is to utilize career resources. Obviously, GoodWill Career Center is one. You've already met with the library. That's how you connected with us. The librarian might have some ideas too. There are career aptitude tests. ONET is one, ONET. That can help you decide what you might want to go into. And then there's another one. I can get back to you on that one. I think it's career I don't remember the name of it, but there's these career help you find what your next step is going to be programs. If you guys are in Connecticut, I would definitely recommend getting on CT Hires, which you have to do if you're ever on unemployment. But CT Hires, they have some of these workshops that you can, test things that you can do to see where your strengths are. And it's a good way to start, helping evaluate yourself. And CT Hires, and it's part of the Connecticut Department of Labor. And they actually post jobs. There's a lot going on CT Hires. It's not always easy to set up an account on that. So if you guys get stuck, you can go to the library or else reach out to us and we can help you. And research different industries and job titles. Again, going back to the library and figuring out different jobs. There's a lot of books about it. And as I said earlier, networking, asking people like, what do you do? How do you like it? What skills do you need? I do think networking, they say when you're looking for another job, that 75% of it should be networking. Yes, you have to go and do the jobs online, apply online, but you want to try and get some connections at some of these companies if possible. Okay, I always tell this to the high school students to do your research. This is something, in school you learn about doing research, high school and college. Well, this is a time that you're going to use those skills. You're going to look at what your interests are and figure out and do that research in those career fields. If anybody, most of you probably do have college degrees, I'm not sure, but anybody with a college degree, professional, education like that, you should be on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has a lot of educational tools. It used to be free. It's called LinkedIn Learning. I don't know how Glastonbury Library is. I know my local library, you can get access to that LinkedIn Learning for free through the library. But the library probably has other career services that they can share with you. And that'll help too. And LinkedIn is also another way to help you connect with people when you're looking in for those informational interviews, to meet up with people and talk about what they're doing. And that's a whole nother workshop, LinkedIn, but it's a very good tool to have. And then also researching positions available, looking, just take the time to look on Indeed, which is the largest search engine, or as I said, LinkedIn, where they do have job postings. And you go on Indeed and you can put in different jobs, and they're getting much more descriptive in what they're looking for. And often when I'm doing a resume, I'll look at the job applications and make sure that your resume is meeting those skills. Obviously, you have to have them. I always tell people your resume is your ticket to your interview. So you want to be able to make sure that that resume is meeting the needs of the employer. Again, you're going to be researching and seeing what jobs you're interested in. And then this is a good way to see if your skill set matches those jobs. Okay, as I keep on saying, reach out and make new contacts. This is after you're aware of what you might be interested in. You got to reach out and talk to people. And I said even earlier to start talking to people that you're interested in making a change, because people might have some ideas for you that you don't think about. When I came to the Career Center for help, I never thought I'd be working as a career coach. And now I've been doing it for 10 years. So you never know what's going to happen when you talk to people. And if you find a company that you're interested in, try and make a connection. Again, on LinkedIn, you might see what company, what people in your network are working at that company, and reach out to them on LinkedIn. You can't be shy. We talked on one of the earlier slides about fear. You can't be shy. You have to start, reaching out to people and asking people to help you. One thing though, I would recommend is as you're, getting help, you always try and help other people. I say what goes around comes around. and gather information from the people working in the industry and gain knowledge, all the knowledge you can about the employment possibilities. Again, through research, looking on Indeed and other search engines. Now, if anybody's interested in going into the nonprofit industry, there is Idealist is a good website for looking for jobs that are nonprofit companies. Obviously, you don't make as much money in nonprofit like where I am at GoodWill, but you can get a lot of fulfillment from helping out people. And Idealist is a really good website for that. Okay, another thing you can do is job shadowing. And now that you've made some contacts, you can actually ask people, hey, can I come in and can I follow you around for a day? I know that's a big ask, but you never know unless you ask. You can get in and see how things work and make sure that it's the right move. Because sometimes, you hear about things, but the reality might be different once you go and experience it. Another thing you can do is go to career events, and that way you can learn at different job fairs. You might hear about jobs that you might not have thought about, and take the time to meet with those recruiters and see what's going on in those jobs. And you can spend as much time as you need or as you're allowed to on this research. Okay. Another good way is to volunteer, and that way, if you are volunteering, especially if it's a nonprofit, you might get the inside scoop on how they work. Also, volunteering gives you an opportunity to connect with more people, and that might be more leads for you in a different industry. You can also put that on your resume or put that on your LinkedIn. And there might be other connections you make just through volunteering, people in another industry or might have some ideas for you. But that's always good to volunteer. I find it very rewarding too, on a personal note. Okay, do you have the correct education? And that might be a big hurdle for you in that next job. You want to make sure that the jobs that you're looking at, you have that education criteria. If not, maybe you got to go and get some schooling. As I mentioned earlier, the state, the CT hires, there's this thing called WIOA, the Workforce Investment. It's WOIA. When you go on CT hires, there's different kind of programs that the state offers. Most of them you can get done for free, and that might give you some ideas if you want some training to get out of what you're doing into a new career. Sometimes going to your local colleges. Interesting that your nephew, Bill, is in manufacturing. We have a real need for manufacturing, and they're doing a lot of education in Connecticut, especially up in the northern part of the state. So if he could find something that could maybe upgrade his manufacturing job, I know they're looking for people in manufacturing. And look into seminars, things like this at the library that you can go to increase your knowledge of the fields. There might be a talk on an industry. The other thing is when you're at these events is to share your contacts with people when you're at the event. If you have LinkedIn, you can just link in with people on your phone. There's an app for LinkedIn, and you just sort of touch the phone and you can actually connect with people that way. So it's a good tool to have. Again, the more contacts you have, the more opportunities you might find. And again, you're looking at not just that person, but their network when you're on LinkedIn. And utilize your current employment. Look for ways to develop your new skills while you're at work that might be helpful in that next job. Maybe take on some new challenges at work that will increase your skill level, and take advantages of any training that might be offered at your job, and offer to lead projects, because that could be good. Leadership is always good to have on a resume. Again, you could do leadership and volunteering too. If you need to organize something, that can be a leadership role for you if you're not finding that leadership in your current job. Okay. This is our last slide here. You need to get started. Now that you're in a positive change, you have a positive that you're going to be changing. You want to look for the open positions. You want to utilize the contacts you've made. You want to take advantage of the job shadowing if you've done that. You want to use the knowledge you've acquired throughout the process and find new employment. You're ready. The bottom line is you want to start doing your research, thinking about where your skills could fit, looking online at jobs. Don't apply yet because you want to make sure. And then you want to work with like a career coach, or even if you're good at doing it yourself, you want to update your resume. Because as I said earlier, once you know what you want to do, you want to target your resume for that job. And if I were in your shoes starting, these are some of the things. Get a notebook, start networking. Maybe even if you don't have a business card, go and get some business cards made up, because that's an easy thing to give people with your email, your LinkedIn, that kind of stuff on there. So you could put down even what kind of, industry you're interested in. And that way people can spread the word about you. So what I wanted to do now is open it up for questions. Does anybody have any questions?
I do just want to do a little plug for a program that we have coming up here at the library for job seekers. We are going to have someone from the American Job Centers, which is through the state, come and help people sign up for CT hires in person once a month. So the next one is, let me just double check the date on that. It's, I think, next week. Yes, it's next Wednesday at 2 p.m. They'll be here from 2 to 5 to help people get set up with that system.
That is excellent, Christy, because I actually have gone on to that website and it can be very confusing. If I were somebody going to that event, I would try and do it myself first, because you're going to feel, you're going to learn a lot more when you get there and they show you the right way. Ask them, and maybe Christy, if you could ask them for as a librarian, how you can get to WIO, which is the training, because that's a really good thing to get. Because they do have it. When you do the training and you ask for it, they'll have somebody reach out to you. They'll call you, which is really amazing. And it can be very helpful. That's great that you have CT hires coming around. How did you hook up with them?
They reached out to us, and next week is the first one, but he will be coming monthly on the last Wednesday afternoon of the month.
Okay, I might ask you later to send me his contact.
Okay.
Because I'd love to. That sounds like it would be a really good thing for the clients here at the Career Center to have. That would be awesome.
We do also, I know it was mentioned, we do have LinkedIn Learning access as long as you have a library card with us.
Okay, that is amazing, guys. LinkedIn Learning, there's so many programs on there. I actually use it a lot to update myself on LinkedIn because it's always changing. And also just a ton of training you can get through there. It used to be called Moody or lynda.com.
Yeah.
And then they bought it. And now, oh, that's great, because not a lot of libraries don't have that. So that's really nice. Those are two really good resources right there, guys.
May I wanted to ask a question about the LinkedIn Learning at the library. Do you have to access it from the library computers, or can you access it from home with your library card?
You can access it from home. They
Woohoo.
also have an app that you can put on your phone or tablet, and they walk you through how to get it set up on there.
Oh,
So you can have it on the
fantastic.
go.
Yeah, because you have to pay for it now, so it'd be great to get it for free.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. And trust me, Bridgeport does not have that, the Bridgeport Library. It's really nice that you guys have that. Chrissy,
So,
did you
question.
put in the chat? I can't, oh, can I put in the chat? Oh, you did put chat in. I didn't, now I can see the chat. Okay, let's see. Did you put my email in?
No, I did not. I can do
Okay,
that.
I'll put it in.
Okay.
I'm gonna put two things in the chat, guys, and let me just see. How do I get in the chat here? Let me just.
So Christy, while Suzanne is doing that, could you talk a little bit more about the thing next week from 2 to 5? It's a 3-hour block. What is it? Is it a drop in, or do you just stay there for the whole 3 hours? And what's going to transpire during that 3-hour block?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question? I couldn't hear.
The thing next Wednesday from 2 to 5 is a 3-hour block of
Yes,
time.
so he's here for 3 hours. You don't have to come right at 2. And he will take people as they come in during that 3-hour block, and then that's why it's drop in. He's
Okay,
gonna do
so
like basically like office hours on that day each month.
okay, so it's basically a drop-in type of a thing where you come in and talk to the guy.
Yeah.
Anytime between 2 and 5.
Yes.
Where will that be posted so that um, is there a registration process, or do you just walk
Nope,
in?
because
Or
it's drop in. We don't do registration for drop in programs.
okay,
That's a good one. If you guys want, I just would like, I put it in the chat. I would like to share with you the GCF Learn Free website because as I mentioned, knowing Microsoft is really valuable and this is a really good website. So let me just do that. Let me take a minute since we have some time left here. And I'll do that. Okay, so, and I just go ahead and GCF Learn Free. So you go in, can you see that? Chrissy,
Yes.
can you see that? Yes, okay, good. So I just want to walk you through it a little bit because it can be a little confusing. So when you get in there, you want to go to technology. And then you can go, I always tell people to start with Word 2016 because most offices have that. And then I'll do Excel and it takes a while. Each one of them is a lesson. And look at, we also have all this other, stuff you can learn. Let's say if you were new to computers, computer basics. Chrissy, this is something you could help that might help other clients coming in or members coming into the library. It's a really good website for that. And I'll just show you quickly. So Word, each it's not opening up for some reason, but each one is a lesson. Okay, here's one Excel. So each one is a lesson and you could see, and then at the end, they have challenges and it's really good because you can practice what you're learning. So I just wanted to share that. Okay, does anyone, I know this is very intuitive, a lot of this, but the more you can network and the more you can, keep your eyes open for new opportunities, the more you're going to be able to get there. Amy?
I'm so sorry. I did not realize I was not muted and I was hacking away.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, you're not feeling well. Okay, got it.
There was a question in the chat about how to find volunteer jobs.
Oh, volunteer jobs, two ways. One is I help people online with it, like I can meet up with you. I don't know, Christy, in your area, oftentimes I'll start with United Way because United Way they're like a nonprofit that then gives money to other nonprofits. So I'll look on their website. I know I've helped a lot of people get volunteer jobs down in Stanford, and food pantries, immigrant help, things like that. A lot of different ways I've helped people get volunteer jobs. So, and also networking with people, maybe even if you belong to a church or a school, there might be opportunities there. Do you at the library, Christy, have any ideas for the area of Glastonbury?
We've just started listing on volunteermatch.com, so I would recommend checking that out. Aside from that, no, we don't have like a volunteer database that I know of.
Okay. It doesn't take long to find one though. Once you start, and again, if anybody needs help, I'm willing to help them. I've done that a lot for people. Okay. Good. Any other items you want to talk about?
I have a,
Okay.
I have one,
Yeah,
I have one thing I can say, I can put out here.
sure.
As far as finding volunteer opportunities, AARP has a portion of their website called Create the Good. That's CREATE space THE space GOOD. And, that's where you can go to find volunteer opportunities that AARP has managed to dredge up.
And Bill, they don't have to be over 65 or anything, right? It's for anybody.
That's for anybody.
Good. That's a
Yeah,
nice resource.
yeah. AARP has changed. They used to cater to people over 65, and now they pretty much cater to people over 50. And for something like this, they cater to everybody.
Yeah. Good. Well, thank you for that suggestion. I'm going to be using them too then. Because I'm
Yeah,
always having a lot
I
of
think
people with volunteer jobs.
I think the website, the URL link for the website is createthegood.aarp.org. Createthegood.aarp.org.
Okay.
So, Christy, this person who's coming in next week on Wednesday, is he from American Job Centers? Did you say?
Yes.
And did you say what his name was?
I mean, this is the first time he's coming, so don't have the most information. I'm just letting people know that it's happening.
Okay. Okay.
No, I don't remember his name. I would have to go back in my email.
Okay. Is there a connection between American Job Centers and Connecticut Hire or CT Hires? Or are they two completely different things?
Yes, they're both through the state.
Yeah, it's like a career center for the state, American Job Center. And they also help find training too. But that's really nice that they're coming and they can help you because this getting into that website can be a little tricky. So I think it's a really good resource for people. Maybe Bill, have your son, your nephew go and try and get on there, or you can go and learn, show him. Because
But I mean, there's a different website for CT Hires, and then there's a different website for American Job Centers, right? Two different websites.
yeah, the CT hires one though is what you need for that's the employment one. So that's a good, you need to join that.
Okay,
You
start
might
there.
even need to join that for American Job Center. I don't know about the American Job Center site, but
Okay.
it's a really good tool. And if anybody, is interested, we also at the GoodWill have LinkedIn classes that I can, not classes, but I can help you with LinkedIn. I've been doing that a lot. I'd say the most important thing for LinkedIn is to have a good photo of yourself that looks professional because people look at the photos and you want to work on the first third of your LinkedIn for pictures and, messages because that's an important, it's like reading a resume. They look at the first third, the same with LinkedIn. And a lot of recruiters are using LinkedIn more than ever. So, and then Indeed, as I said, is a big search engine. Those are the two that we use the most here at the Career Center. Definitely Indeed. And then Idealist is good for nonprofit.
So I
We
have a
will also
question
be
about-
having a LinkedIn photo shoot coming up on April 22nd, where we take photos for LinkedIn here at the library. So if anyone's interested in coming to that, you are more than
That's
welcome.
really good. Very good. Chrissy, you're doing everything right there. That's great. I wish it
So
was
Suzanne,
closer. I would have a lot.
Suzanne, I have a question for you about GoodWill.
Sure.
You mentioned GoodWill Career Center, but you also say that you're in Bridgeport. We are in Hartford County, and I'm wondering if GoodWill has a career center in Hartford County or
We
just a
do.
regular Goodwill. You have a
Well,
career center in Hartford?
we're Goodwill of Western and Northern Connecticut. Believe it or not, Goodwill is a franchise. And we have, we cover from like Fairfield County up through Hartford, up to Enfield. And our 6 centers are Enfield, Hartford, which is more near West Hartford, and Waterbury, Shelton, Norwalk, and Bridgeport. But as I said in the beginning, I can also help anybody virtually. Like this afternoon, I'm helping somebody from Florida. You know, it doesn't matter where you are, it's the same process. But if they want in-person help, I don't know, it's, let's see, what's the address? In Hartford, it's 315 New Park Avenue. So
Oh,
feel free to,
either in person would be 315 New Park Avenue, or by Zoom would be with you in Bridgeport.
yeah, with me. And if I don't do the Zoom, I'll find somebody for you.
Okay.
But that's good. It's a lot of good information today. I can, just between myself and the librarian, Chrissy, that's good stuff that you're doing there. Getting that photo is important. You don't want a picture of yourself with like somebody's arm around you. Good. Okay. Chrissy, would you say this is the last call for questions?
Yeah, if there's any more questions, speak now or forever hold your peace. And if not, then we will wrap for today.
Thank you both.
Well, thank you guys for coming. And I look forward to maybe meeting up with you guys through Zoom or going to our career center, or maybe attending future workshops like this, because we have a lot of different workshops that we can do. We have resumes, cover letters, all those workshops, and I can do them individually too. So hopefully we leave you guys with some good resources today.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you, Suzanne.
Okay.
All right,
Take
thank
care.
you, Suzanne, and thank you everyone for coming.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
both. I've learned a
Thanks for
ton.
hosting. We appreciate it.
All right, have a nice afternoon, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.